Hello, everyone. We're the Justice Miners team, and we'll be presenting our solution to the data mining, processing, and enrichment pillar of the AIMS Hackathon. My name is Sofia Prada, and along with Federico Melo, we'll be presenting the solution of our team, which is presented here. The problem we're trying to solve is that government agents and policymakers still face significant challenges in automatically collecting modern slavery statements, detecting and analyzing their visual elements, and performing transparency checks. These limitations are important because they reduce the ability to efficiently assess the validity and the completeness of the reports, and this undermines regulatory oversight under the acts.
So regarding the first pillars, which is knowledge repositories and the dashboards, the first thing we did was collect these statements. So we navigate the government repositories, or we automatically import them through their APIs. And we're able to first enrich that imported information with everything that relates to these statements. And secondly, and most importantly, to have direct links to the statements with fallback heuristics in case we're not able to find them directly in the HTML. Then we save that information structuredly in the database as shown below. That allows us to build comprehensive company profiles. So we have the information we just collected before, and we enrich those profiles through open source datasets.
This allows us to build a comparable and national repository, which allows us to look at insights by industry and revenue level and compare these to just established benchmarks of what industries are more prone to have modern slavery. Yeah, this just helps regulation, and it also helps us to check for temporal consistency among the statements of each company.
Now, this is the pipeline, which basically scrapes the information using the crawler from the repositories. And with the registry data, we build the ETL per country, and we have great metrics, except for completeness because the statements are simply missing sometimes. Now, regarding the visibility of the statements within the company's website, we have also an engine which first automatically is able to obtain the website of each of the companies, and second is able to navigate that website's HTML and rate how difficult it is to find the statement or how it would be for a user.
This gives us greater insight into a company's actual commitment to the act, and it also allows us to check for the level of exposure to other stakeholders, which is very important because this might be able to shape consumer behavior.
Now, regarding,
sorry. So we compiled some information on these dashboards that show company count by industry sector, for example, for each country. And we also have some temporal and geographical trends, for example, the amount of statements that were published each year, their end year, and their start year.
Great. So with that, now regarding the second pillar of processing and data enrichment, what we have is that first we're able to get the text from the documents with a lot of accuracy. We have several pipelines, each with multiple prompts and using open source and lightweight large language models. So we have a specialized prompt for different tasks, and we're able to recognize, for example, irrelevant pages that we don't parse to save computation. Now, these pipelines allow us to parse both infographics and tables separately with a very high success rate. Now, this is really scalable because different teams can maintain, for example, specifically the table parsing or the infographic parsing so that we can improve that. Now, here we have an example of a really complex table in French that we are able to successfully parse as Markdown so that we can structure this data and save it. Now, we also have an additional feature of signature recognition, which is really important, and this is able to determine whether the document is properly signed and the metadata of that signature. So the holder, the position within the company, and the date where it was signed with models that are runnable by the organizations.
Having this information is very important because the signature by the board or by the president represents the view of the organization, and it just helps us make sure that the decision of shying away from modern slavery is made from the top, and that it can actually impact every step of the supply chain and of the production process.
Now, here we have an example where we process the signature correctly, and finally, we're able to have all this mixed content and organize it in the same order as it was in the document so that we properly represent each statement. Thank you very much for your attention, and this was our solution.